2026, let's hope it's good to us. I just want to remind everybody that we're being recorded, so, and we have Elena, who is, online, at home. Okay, so. Council on Aging agenda, acceptance of reports. All right, if you want to take a few minutes to look over the secretary's report, it was quite thorough and quite lengthy. Just to remind us what we went over last month.
There was one thing that I personally noticed after I read the newsletter when it came out. I had written in the notes here, this is the Friends report,
Yeah,
that the Mendon police officer attended for a meet and greet, but it was actually to do it. I found out reading fraud, it was a fraud. So do you think we should change that in the notes or
I don't think,
is that?
I don't think so. I think it's a technicality.
Yeah, okay.
The fact that he was there.
Right.
He was there, like,
Yeah,
oh, he was
because at the meeting, no, our meeting, nobody said fraud. I thought he was just coming over to be friends. Meet the friends.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I wouldn't put you through that.
Oh, I have 2 pages down here on mine. Is somebody missing a copy? I have 2 of the COA meeting notes,
Okay,
draft copy.
well, there's a couple extras, so.
Yeah, it's okay. Put it
I
in, it's like,
I had printing issues last night, so that could be good.
it's okay. So. You know, there's a lot of stuff that.
I hope there's not as much typing this time as I had.
There's no promises.
A lot.
And you do a great job.
We all do.
Thank
We
you.
are, we're a good group. We are very good. Shipping. Try not to lean on it. Is everybody good? Pretty much. Could I please have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
I motion.
Bill and Diane second. All in favor?
I,
Amy, you're going to do the treasury report.
So, we have begun submitting, copies of donations received to the select board so that they can be, accepted. They're the body that accepts them. What I give you is pretty basic. What I give them, what I'm in the process of doing right now is everybody that gave a donation in December, if I haven't already contacted them or if they haven't brought it in person, I am trying to contact them to say, do you want your name to be publicly included and acknowledged? Surprisingly, a lot of people are like, oh, that's fine, because Jeremy will then, read them aloud. If they do not want that, then they will simply say anonymous. So, for the month of December, we have a total of 3 anonymous donations to the COA gift account totaling $568.25. And for the food pantry account, we have a total of donations, $5,375. That includes 8 personal donations totaling $3,407.
That's really amazing. Seriously, the generosity in the town.
Absolutely incredible. We had 4 business donations and those are all listed. They're public entities, they're all listed there. $1,900. PIDC, forgive me for not clarifying that. Last year, PIDC made a donation in honor of one of their employees. They did whatever towns their employees lived in. PIDC is a construction company in Milford. Whatever towns their employees lived in, they made a donation to their entry. And so they did it again this year. I apologize that I didn't write that in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then I know it's not a monetary donation, but I did include Misco food deliveries, and we'll talk more about that when we get to the food pantry. We only had one expense that we paid for in December. It was November stock, and that was for things that we just generally don't get. We don't get things like coffee. We don't get things like,
It's so expensive.
it's that, you know, and those are things that I kind of throw out there for people as suggestions. But so juice and coffee really is what that was. And so we have a very healthy balance there, as you can see. I don't expect that we are going to be buying food except for particular things that we're missing, you know, for the next 6 months, to be honest with you.
That's
So,
right.
we'll get to that. So, when we had the employees holiday party up here, I was asked, what does the food pantry need? The first thing I said was flour and sugar, and they did donate a lot. Yeah, we have no sugar left.
on the shelf, it goes.
We have no sugar left. We have 2 bags of flour, so I'm putting that out there. I don't want to put the big feelers out there because, you know, Kathy had made an observation the other day, we don't have room.
But
But
never was that, people just gave. I mean, they just gave in December, so I would pay for that stuff, because they can't afford it.
now, if, I guess, you know, when it comes time for the budget, we can look more, because the budget's down and we'll look more at this and see where we're at, and I'll explain, you know, what I would like to do in terms of making any adjustments to the budget. It's due this Friday, so. But yeah, so, basically, people who were very generous and decided.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to the well again for a couple of months.
We got one this year.
Yes, and that's fine. So if it's specific things that we've got the money for it, I don't see why trip to market, that,
We
you know.
have volunteers that do shopping, so, they can do the shopping.
Yeah. Let go for a while. We have one complete accept the minutes as read. Well, says. Motion, does it pass? Yes.
So, I just want to say, I'm only got 2 weeks from vacation. It's December, most of you were there for many events, wonderful events, Friends events,
Yeah.
away events, New Year's events. And so, I don't have a lot to say about that, except that we'll discuss those further with follow-up. Other things we did get, our food permit was granted to us. I did set up trainings, some of them have taken place, Tri-Valley training. We had 5 people take the Tri-Valley training. And, of that, 3 of them were new people. That's right, you know, so.
How many groups?
Five.
Yeah.
I got that.
3 new. So in the kitchen, like with any restaurant, when you go to a restaurant, have you, any of you noticed like serve safe and other certificates on the wall? So if you go into our kitchen, I need to find more room to put 5 more certificates up there. So they're all showing, and so that's great. I really like our trainer from Tri-Valley.
Yeah.
She
makes sure that you totally understand it before you have to take the test.
Yes, also worked on, we had a training this week, and I apologize to the Friends for not being able to be at their meeting. Our drivers were both needed their first aid training, and it only made sense to have full staff. It was also another excellent training. Sue Tatro, she led that, and it was just spot on. I mean, I went home, my husband was happy because he's a trainer, and when I told him some of the things, some of the first thing she said to us before she even turned on the program was, remain calm, stay calm. If you stay calm, the person's gonna be calm. And when I told my husband this, he said, he kind of chuckled. He said, I thought I was the only one that gets that. But he was pleased. So, and I feel more confident too, how to, you know, apply pressure, how to, you know, position or not position, not touch your body. So it was a very good training. So we're focusing on trainings now. So that's that. The other thing I just want to delve to just slightly, I don't know if I should do it here or in business, is some opportunities are being presented to us with very little notice. You know, these are grants to the tune of between 50,000 and 125,000. This one is concept is too much for. This one is for discrete one-year projects in central Mass between those dollar amounts to help an organization move forward to the next level of capacity and of effectiveness over that can be sustained over a period of time. And there's many different things that they look at there. But again, not a lot of notice, but we can, if anybody wants to look at that with me, we can do that.
It's too bad the town doesn't have a person who can do grant writing.
Milford did that.
It would pay for
She
itself.
eventually became the town's senior center director for, over a decade.
Who was that?
Sue Clark.
Oh,
Susan Clark, and that, again, she was hired to do that, and I mean, it's just incredible. This one, Powering Possibilities, this is from NCOA, the National Councils on Aging. Just got that this week. This is for skills building, helping seniors to increase their ability to use technology. And again, really big grants, but this, you have to have registered participants. 150 people, you can get $5,000. If you have 350 people registered, you can get $10,000. And again, this is to help them, it says, to develop digital skills and real world technological abilities. This one is to get just like these.
you wouldn't get 150, we wouldn't put them.
Well, exactly. And what you're required to do to get these grants. So I wanted
Is
to.
that for staff or for volunteers or both?
No, this is for seniors.
Like they.
So the senior center, we, the council would have to apply for these, but, so I guess I think what we can do going forward, dream big,
Absolutely.
and then when these things come along, there was no precursor to this coming in my inbox. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Now, one that did just come in and gives us a little bit more leeway is from Senator Fatman's office. And I was pleased to see, Brian forwarded to me, but I got it directly from Senator Fatman's office. This one is due March 4th, gives us a little bit more leeway. It talks about focusing on public spaces, transportation, housing, and I can't remember my writing there. Right, well, it's an abbreviation, but and I know that didn't apply to us. I was thinking public spaces and transportation. This one is, I want to say, they said over the last several years, they've given out $214,000. Something like this, I'd like to see sidewalks going into the senior center. I've been there 18 years and I've seen, there's been a number of people either driving a scooter on the road, walking along the side. And I think it was slated years ago, but it was in conjunction with Providence Street, that Providence Street Exchange, but for some reason, somebody put the kibosh on it.
Somebody's yard probably.
Perhaps, but I mean, something like this, and again,
Town knows like 8 feet in anyway, don't it?
Yeah. There's
something like this, I mean, that March 4th is a fair amount of time to consider this.
What are the dates on the other two? Amy?
This one is March 1st.
March 1st. That's the one for.
This is concepts are due, so that's not too bad, and this is through, I've never heard of the foundation, I've heard of the Metro West Foundation, but they're primarily focused on health, but you can have that, Phil, and then, you can have this one too, because I can just, really print them off. That one's on technology, we have to talk about this one, I think that
The way it would work would be if all the area senior centers could combine together somehow.
they would probably love that, but again, it's not a lot of time.
I know that's what it is, there's not a lot of time, if there was
We
time.
need to have meetings and whatnot. I will tell you, this afternoon, I am gonna be at a meeting or hybrid meeting regarding digital equity. This is something that's been in the works here in Mendon. We've been selected. It's through Central Mass Regional Planning out of Worcester. They're the entity that helped us with our van grant, which was a pretty substantial grant. And so we're gonna have a meeting, and they've involved the library and the senior center. And I said, we have a computer lab, and it's about making things accessible, about reviewing what do you have and what can make it, better for your participants. So, and I'm sure Andrew's gonna be on it too from the library.
Sure.
So that's something, it's similar but different. It's not, what they're gonna do, they're going to have to, after our initial meeting today and going forward, they're gonna have to agree on a scope and then create a budget. So right here in Mendon, we have one of our employees, Dylan, will be helping. She's gonna be coordinating coordinating this effort, working with CMRPC. So it may bring some modifications and changes to the senior central lab, which was, the computer lab was before my time, but it was an Eagle Scout project that created that L-shaped desk, brought us. The computers were so archaic when I first came here, but, and then Robert Fletcher brought in 4 more from the EPA, and then we got some cast-offs from departments up here, then we got some cast-offs from, maybe it's time to get some real ones. You know, how many do we have upstairs? 3, we have 4, but you know what, there's really not space for 4 people to work on.
We have no privacy.
Yeah, that is true.
4 people.
You know, when I went recently to get an oil change, I was pleasantly surprised. It happened to be a holiday, it was the day after Thanksgiving. They had cubbies over on West Road or Honda. They had cubbies that I could plug in my, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, something like that might be better. So, but thank you, Phil, for looking those over and, you know, seeing what you're saying.
I think what we need is, it's a great thing to move forward with, because grants are an opportunity. The town doesn't go after them, because we have nobody to. But as you get these, we should do a quick review. Some of these we may say, oh, no good, and don't waste time on. But others, we may want to invest some time, get a quick group together.
Yes,
And some of these you just got to get in the door.
yes.
We got that grant from, for the 80,000, which we asked for 13 million.
Mm-hmm.
My son-in-law and I did that over lunch.
Mm-hmm.
We wrote the request for a grant
Yes.
for
So
funding. It wasn't one of these big research things.
it sounds like there's been a resurgence of, you know, I don't think last year we got notification of very many grants, but they're coming back. So this one says apply for a grant today. This is the one through the senator's office that sent out through AARP. It's called the Community Challenge. This is the one where I'm thinking, you know, I'd love to see sidewalks, whether or not, you know, we feel that that's a feasible thing to go for, but,
The cost of
and
it,
I apologize for the pink. I have to change the ink of the computer.
the cost of it, yeah, the sidewalks would be nice, but the cost.
But the cost of it, this is safety. I mean, it's just.
I understand.
We're so lucky that we haven't lost a life.
Right. And Bob walks up and down all the time.
And our
Every
neighbor
day.
with her sister, she was.
She was. Yeah.
I mean, I used to drive slowly behind her.
Yeah.
Just to make sure she was in. So,
Why don't we do this, because we're running out of time, because of the next meeting, but why don't I take a look at these real quick, do an assessment, come back to you, Amy, and to the chairs,
sure,
and then if we think they're good, we'll go after it,
okay,
and make, pull a couple of people together. We don't have to put a big committee together, because you'll never get anywhere.
thank you, Phil.
Right, it won't hurt to try.
We should look at these, and some of you say, okay, this is possible, let's see what we can do. That brings, I may need to set up a meeting with you, Amy, on this one.
Yeah.
Next week.
Absolutely. Just, if any of you saw the local, Free Press, they had a nice article, a nice big spread for our eldest senior. They transposed his age. He's 98 and they put it in as 89. They used my whole blurb from the newsletter, which I was surprised. How did they get it wrong? And she apologized profusely. We've had 2 irate calls, people, whose their family calling, my father, my mother, you know, and I'm like, and then one woman was.
They'll put it, won't they put it?
Oh, yes, they're gonna do a nice retraction. Then who knows, they might even run the whole article again, you
Oh,
know?
wow.
So just in case you saw it, because people going 89 and he's the oldest. I did just get notification yesterday, and I forgive me for not having all the information for you, but a new couple in Mendon, they're both veterans, and they want to start a new news outlet. And they did vaguely reference the Free Press. They referenced Milford. They wanted to meet with me next week, and I'm gonna tell them I have to put it off. I have so many people asking to meet
That's
with me.
I don't want you working extra hours.
No, and so, but just to let you know that there's something coming down the pike, and it could be really interesting. Maybe it'll tie in with Mendon stats or Mendon Bulletin, or, you know,
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
that's
sure.
Karen would know that.
Yes, yeah, so, and actually, you know what? Actually, I think that's what I'll do. I'll put
Refer
them
to
in
Karen.
to Karen, thank you, because I'm just like, I
Yeah,
don't have time to meet you. I know you had mentioned at the, thank you for doing so, at the Friends meeting, the World War II program is going ahead. It is going ahead to, we're gonna be meeting at Mendonma High School on January 30th. I'm notifying people in person, on phone, and then emailing them all the information. We're meeting from 10 to 12. And we'll be getting a list, like Ann and I did, we'll be getting a list of questions for the senior participants.
What's that memories program?
Yes, World War II.
Oh, yeah, World War
Yeah, World War II. So it's, we just got another couple from Upton. The husband was, brought up in Denmark, and I guess it was German occupied at the time. And so had a different, he wasn't, an American child, but he obviously had a very, it's got memories of it. And otherwise, just I've confirmed all upcoming programs, the caregiver program starting April 1st, it's confirmed for 6 weeks. The mediation program is confirmed for Wednesday, March 18th. Registry of Deeds and Probate, which was such a popular one before, was confirmed April. I can't keep, I'll give it to you later. And like last year, I think it was motorized. Last year, we didn't know the judge's date. I kept after them. This year, I reached out to them early before they even sent the notification out. And they're like, great, we're just getting ready to send the notification out. I gave them 3 dates. I'm hoping they'll get back to me soon so I can advertise it, because that was a really fabulous, I thought, fabulous program. So there's a lot of things coming up. The Friends, we have an anchor with their, the birthday bash is the third Tuesday. Carolyn's done a fabulous job lining up entertainment.
And well attended.
Very well attended. Yes, actually, it's the sheet for next week is really filling out. I did have one request, Carolyn, yesterday, and I know you gave, I think, a few of us a list of entertainers. They were asking about March, if it was gonna be something Irish,
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And the one I had to sell my soul for, because of course, the March 17th, I'm guessing it might be good to book now for 2027.
Correct.
But it is St. Paddy's Day. So actually it's the guy who's doing next month is also doing March.
Okay, she's gonna have 2.
So he's got, but that's because he's local and I think he's performing at 11 o'clock because he's got other gigs throughout the day.
I'll talk to you in here because typically Tri-Valley has a corned beef and cabbage meal close to, but it happens to be.
Just a
Can I just speak personally, please no.
No, please don't say that publicly, but I will say, John,
No, it's not the Tri-Valley, it's corned beef and cabbage.
Oh, wait a minute. now.
but it's St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah,
so.
you can ask.
We did think that we would start with Irish coffee and soda bread.
But I'll get you a hamburger on the side, but then
Yeah,
I'll
the
get the cabbage side.
seniors are gonna miss out because that'll be their only
Well,
meal.
beef and cabbage may be good.
And it comes with cabbage and the carrots.
And the idea is, of course, for the birthday bash is that it's self-serve.
Doesn't have to be, but, that's, you're.
And the other thing is that, look at me, little Miss Island over here with the red hair and the whole bit. I cook corned beef and cabbage once a year, whether I need it or not.
I had an Irish grandmother, but it didn't get me to love coffee.
So that's all I want to say about now. We'll just, going forward, we'll maybe a few more things to add.
Good job.
Happy New Year, everybody. Yep.
So just hand it. I do the same thing at Friends. I give her the list after. I don't expect her to do that.
Dates are.
I know, I understand. Okay, Karen, you're going to speak for the Friends?
Hiya. Hello, Happy New Year. At the meeting this month, the Treasurer and Secretary were sworn in, as were the 2 new board members, which are Georgia and Warren. The President and Vice President will be sworn in next month. We received our officer reports. The Treasurer, the new budget was approved for 2026. The Secretary's report was read and accepted. There is a greatly increased number of lifetime members, which we're all thrilled about because we don't have to hound them. And the Council on Aging report and Director's report were given by PEC. The Jingle Bell Fair, we had double the income of the previous year. It was definitely enhanced by the participation of the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts.
Absolutely.
The December meeting was greatly enjoyed. It was a holiday gathering, included a gift exchange, a Santa visit and a trivia game. The birthday bash is continuing, very popular. December's entertainer, Ethan Stone, was greatly enjoyed. On the 20th this month, we have Polka Paul, and we're serving a meal from the Krakow Deli, so we're going full Polish.
Thank you.
This year we are asking participants to make a donation. We suggest $5, but it is a donation. But birthday celebrations will not be expected. And all our entertainers are booked for 2026. And my plan is actually to start in July to do the 2027 ones. What's Cooking program is still in the planning stage. We are still requesting a Friday date because we do not want to conflict with the Tri-Valley meals. The meal that is produced will not be balanced. It will not be a full meal. And for the food insecure residents, it seems unfair to take their meal away from them. The board members met with the Uxbridge Activity Director to learn from their successful programming. We're looking at the moment into correct licensing to play bingo. Uxbridge Town apparently has a license, but Mendon does not.
Just an update, that's Karen's putting paperwork together.
Excellent.
She has a contact in the state, so that should be done.
So we had one at some point, but I don't know if it has to be renewed.
They haven't found, they couldn't find, state couldn't find it, so we're renewing it. And I'm not sure if we're renewing it.
Prior to, we had that person for 8 years, she was our bingo coordinator, and we had a little plaque down there, it was very colorful, that said, you know, gas gaming or whatever, but.
Karen's got a hold of contact, and her update is, you just need to fill out the form, and I think we should go say.
Wasn't it bingo on Fridays or, yeah, I remember that. Thought it was all cool.
I think the only thing is, I think she's close enough to getting it all wrapped up, so we just need a date.
We are reluctant to take anything in the first week of the month because the newsletter, for example, I know the December ones did not hit our mailboxes. I think I got mine on the 9th, and people that were not in Mendon were getting theirs. Well, actually, somebody got theirs the day that we held our board meeting, which was the 19th. So I'm computer literate, and I still get. I open it, mark off what I want to see. First week of the month, forget about it because I've not got that newsletter. So we are reluctant to take the first week. We discussed the memorandum of understanding to clarify the appropriate use of Friends of Mendon Elder funds, and I believe it's been presented to the Council on Aging. For the committees, the lunch bunch dined at Grumpy's in December, and they're going to Miss Mendon this month. The Sunshine Committee sent a card of appreciation to the Ferrucci family for their wonderful December meal. The Travel Committee has planned lots of day trips for 2026, but not in June because everything is booked for World Cup travellers.
That's out at the Cape, right? That's at the Cape.
The World Cup, it's Foxborough.
That's a Foxborough.
Yeah,
Everything's booked up.
I might know somebody with 2 tickets, but if I knew somebody with more, not me, unfortunately. New Zealand party was absolutely spectacular again. Kudos to you two. Don't see any problem with holding it December 30th next year myself. My suggestion is, do you want me to contact DJ Chris for you?
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to Amy, but she and I had talked earlier about the fact that if we had it on the 31st at noon like we did before, it was 11 to 2. And to be in compliance with what the town says the buildings are closing at 2. They're giving their employees, that time off. And we couldn't do that with Shauna because she was locking up and we had to clean up. So Amy and I talked about it and we said, maybe we could move it to the 30th.
In our first year, we did have it on the 30th. I think
That's
it's
fine.
happened last year that it worked. Okay, but and you said that's fine. You
No,
found
I've got no problems with it.
I think we should contact DJ Chris.
I've got his email and phone number and everything else, so let me just contact him and see if I can get a better price.
Yeah,
I think it will, because again, that was another one.
Well,
of the
he
things
did, he did say that the reason he was expensive
Yes,
was because
is
it was
because I
31st.
think there'll be some savings in that too.
I mean, He's so amenable. He could do anything you want. you know.
He's very personable, he
Yeah.
gets people going, yeah, and he's used to us too.
Yep.
I think that's
Well,
another thing.
as he left, he said, I expect we'll talk.
He's so cute.
Well, I don't have a problem with you contacting him, I mean, I don't know who's gonna do the party next year, but you know.
Do you want the friend? Well,
I know somebody has to take charge of it.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna try and do it. I've done it for a number of years now. I've done the Chinese, I've done the, is it Mardi Gras, and a couple of the country western. Chris can do anything, so
That's right. Good thing. I don't have a problem with you contacting him, we're gonna need entertainment, no matter what the theme is.
exactly.
And then you guys,
I appreciate you doing that.
we can form a committee later.
You got a plan. And the yard sale, June 6th, put it on your calendars. All help willingly received, and tomorrow we're sending the letters out. I am leaving from here to buy the stamps. Got the envelopes, and Charles River Bank was very kind to print all the letters for us.
That was nice.
Okay, very good. Old business, food pantry update. I know you gave us a little bit. Is there anything else that you want?
Yeah, just, this is a very unprecedented year. We received more food this year than we did during the pandemic. And in the pandemic, during the pandemic, we took over, we being the food pantry, took over the entire garage. Tables, the whole thing, and they could, the pantry volunteers could then use that as their inventory, their stock to draw from. We don't have that ability because we just got the van back into the garage. So all the food has gone in and it's piled up. We got, of course, we got the shipment from Clough, but then we got two huge ones from Misco. We got a further one from Nipmuc. The ones from Misco were incredible. I don't know if anybody was here the day they were being delivered. They were delivered a week apart, and their sponsored it, and it was just incredible. They contacted me early in the fall, asked me what we needed, and I really honed in on, personal care products, cleaning products, and certain foods. They really went to town, and then not only did they do that, I asked them if they could check the dates. They checked the dates. Of course, we have to check them again. We really do, just to make sure. They checked the dates, and then they boxed things by category. So,
That's beneficial.
so, yeah, so, but it's, the pantry is filled, the other side is filled, I've been saying no, so our one contact, he was one of the chefs for the Veterans Appreciation, he's a retired police officer, he and his fellow officer have, access to Amazon, donations from Amazon. So he had given us things in November, and then he said, oh, do you need some more things? I said, we can always use beverages because they have Ensure. And sometimes getting Ensure, and Ensure is so expensive. So I said, yes, he brought in 5 cases of beverages. We haven't even tapped into all of them. They're not all Ensure, of course. And of course, we do need to check the date, but there was some soda, there's sparkling waters, there's
And juice.
not a lot of juice, there's hot drinks, there's some Gatorade, things like that. I know we could use juice, there was a little bit. But so when I saw him after I came back from vacation, I said, we're all set for the time being, please. Because they have a warehouse. They have huge,
I know, we don't have room for
we
it.
don't have room. And so, I apologize to Kathy Hunt, who's worked so hard to get everything organized. But anyway, so we have a lot that we can pull from. Again, we're not putting the word out. We will use our own funding that we're.
Yeah, for what we need.
The flour, the sugar, all that.
That abundance really. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, people understood. People were gonna go without food.
I mean, the people are still asking. The Lions Club used the center to prepare some meals. I haven't seen them yet. They're actually, they're coming in tonight. Some meals they're supposed to be a packet of complete meal. And again, they had a couple different varieties, and they asked me, how many do you want? And I wanted to say, we're all set. But I said, we'll take 30, you know, and so we'll see what they look like, and if that's, you know, their combination of rice and, other dried
Oh, it's
goods.
like a cook, not, these
No,
are meals,
no.
these are ingredients to make a meal.
But, Shauna keeps me in check, and like, we have between the two of us, we're saying no.
And the other thing we have to worry about, if we have too much and we don't get to it, and then the dates run out, then, you know, that's a shame to have it.
Yes, and
Although
so.
we have other, we do give it to us.
What our volunteers are doing now, and they, I'll tell you, before last Friday's, distribution, they had gone to town and just each area, they're pulling out the 2026s. We will be donating the 2026s to the likes of Milford and Upton,
Yeah.
but even they are overflowing. I've got a good contact in Milford, and I had a woman that came in yesterday. She also works with the contact in Milford, and they don't have them right now. They also got a lot. So, but what our volunteers are doing is they're putting things aside, again, 2026s that are gonna be, as soon as they've got space, they've got a truck, they'll come over. This is Milford. Milford serves a lot more people than we do.
Yeah.
So, it was a
Yeah.
very different
Yeah.
year, you know, the generosity was just.
St. Gabriel's in Upton has a small food pantry, and in my church bulletin Sunday, they mentioned things that they need, but it's stuff like that, we wouldn't wanna give it away. It's things like Spam and the things that we ran out of, it wasn't things like pasta or, you know, that you have soup and all that.
Actually, maybe able to help the Lions Club, Kathy Fukino applied to, Hormel for spam and got a lot of spam. And, she just told me yesterday,
Sounds like a good thing.
let me just tell you, she got, and I'm like, that's something that we have to buy. It's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
And so we will happily share some of that. Let me see where she is right here, Kathy.
I'm trying to think, I didn't save the bulletin, I read it, then I put it back, I didn't bring it home, so
So
as I read it, it was things that we would, you know.
it said 4 cases of spam.
Oh, wow.
So we'll be able to share some because
Okay.
St. Gabriel's is good to us.
Yeah, we should-
The Upton Pantry, I don't know if anybody's familiar with it, it's inside the, United Parish Church. And it is literally in their hall, it's in their kitchen, in their, and I talked to Wayne, who happens to participate there. He said that they keep encroaching upon more and more of the church space, not even the sanctuary itself. So they're one of our primary people too to share with, you know, they're smaller than us, but smaller in space, so. You know, we're trying to, and we also have the soup kitchen, we have a contact, active participant in this. I've got large quantities, larger cans and whatnot that a family couldn't use, we ship things down to that soup kitchen.
That's fine.
We have so much.
Somebody's using it, that's the most important.
But the thing is, you know, be patient because it takes time and the volunteers, I told them, I didn't want them to rush. I gave them a couple of parameters, but parameters are keeping the shopping carts empty and the one main table empty, you know?
Yes, then you can do your orders.
Because then they can focus in on, and they're working together. We have 2 primary people working together. So, it's going well. It's a year like none other. So, and we are letting people take a lot of food and we put the orders together.
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're being generous, but
We have
we have to make sure they understand that it maybe won't always be that generous, but right now.
One order yesterday was what, 2 big boxes and 2 bags.
Yes.
A new family.
Question, are we connected, and I don't know, but to the senior living center up to the town, because everybody, do they use it? I don't know the people who come.
You talking about Sunrise?
Sunrise, yes. Are
We
we?
have a number of people.
Because we were,
that
because
are-
the whole crew could use it up there.
So, they don't want us to drop off food there, they've told us.
Okay.
They've told us, do not leave food out here. We have a number of people come there, I'd say 6 come to shop, 6 to 8 come to shop.
I was gonna say, it's an
And then-
ideal group,
And then the other people that don't drive, we deliver to.
okay, because that's an area that, you know, I wanted to also bring up for the birthday bath. We consider bringing, you know, more spontaneously get those people up there. My son lives there, he's disabled. And when I dropped off the excess food from the other day, you can see these people could use more food, just by the fact of the way they were waiting. So we should really do whatever we can to get connected with Sunrise, any way we can. Birthday bashes, they don't have to contribute. for extra food pantries, if we could get new clients for the food pantry? Because most everybody's on SNAP up there, so they qualify. So I don't know how we do that, but I just throw that out.
I would say a good many of them, I mean, I can look at the list.
Yeah.
They should be on Snap.
There are 30 apartments up there. Of the 30 apartments, I know at least 10 that participate in the food pantry.
But the people that come to the food pantry were generally on Snap as well.
Yeah.
Staff or field assistant.
So how much has it grown?
The food pantry, 50 clients, but they don't all come every month. I have, one family, they'll come when they hit rock bottom, which is might be 6 times a year.
Mm.
I have another person that, again, I would say it's just one family every quarter.
I just feel bad that they're waiting until they hit rock bottom, and when there's no need to, because the food we give them, they can use that money for another bill or something.
That's exactly what I say that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, it's their pride perhaps. We do have, I just heard this morning from Sean, we do have, clients that serve other pantries,
That's life.
Exactly.
That's how.
And you know what? And so some of those other pantries might have fresh produce. The pantry in my town, it serves, there's part of it that serves just the town, and then there's part of it that gets supplement from the state. And they might have chicken, they might have fresh fruits. You don't know what you're gonna find when you get there.
So if they're serving them for those reasons, I have no problem with that.
The Bethany Church, they also have,
They
and
don't-
people confuse us with them too. Because they serve people outside of town, not just Mendon.
Right.
But I said, the long and short of it is, the pantry is well stocked. I think it's working quite well. We have new volunteers, that are, we have Hala, who's helping in the kitchen, Tri-Valley trained. She's also helping. We have Lisa Hurley, who's helping with many events. She's also helping in the food. Tears are growing.
I can tell you from personal experience that the boxes are extremely heavy. I struggle. I made a delivery to somebody.
Yeah.
And I had to take things out of the box and put it in bags. It was just too, was going to be heavy, 2 flights of stairs.
That was a staff member that put that together, so I will make them aware that they
That
can't.
was one of the reasons why I had to stop doing it, because packages were just too heavy.
Yeah,
They were shopping at Market Basket. It was reaching a point I couldn't carry this. I couldn't do it.
When I fill the boxes, I try not to, because canned goods are very heavy. I try to put like heavy things in the corners and then,
And then something.
but it's, they do. I mean, I'm not that strong. I couldn't lift it. I think of Phil too. I don't want him to throw it.
Paul, yeah, so
Paul
today
just did that.
is the first drive around doing, bringing deliveries around town, and I'll ask him how it went.
Oh,
If they, I know Wayne had asked to be taken off that rotation because the boxes were getting.
Yeah.
So.
and I have the bag, there was a nice bag, I've got that in my car to return. But what about the boxes? I didn't know if you wanted the boxes back.
Yes and no, I'm trying to, when we got the distribution from Clough, they had the nice WB Mason boxes with the
Oh,
handles.
this was the regular box.
Yeah, so the boxes that I get from WB Mason, I think they're a different caliber.
We don't have those handles.
We don't have the handles and our boxes aren't as sturdy. I have that, but the town does use WB Mason. I'll have to check to see if there's.
They're bread boxes. Good.
We use vanilla bread, if they're clean, they have to be totally clean, so. The other thing, we did have a potential Eagle Scout project, we talked about putting in new shelves. At one point, one of your predecessors had said to me, I'd really love to see wire shelves in there. Well, 2 principal volunteers right now, they took me aside when I came back from vacation, and they said, Amy, we don't want wire shelves. We love, Kathy Hunt donated some wire shelves on wheels, which are phenomenal to move inventory around. Right now, I've got orders on there that are gonna be delivered next week, and does things in advance. But what they found is they don't feel comfortable. They don't want to see those wire shelves be in the center of the building there. But they came back with, we like these shelves, and they happen to be the ones that another Eagle Scout had built. So the food pantry, one of the Tetros, sons built the one whole side, and then a different Tetro, I don't know if it was a cousin, built shelves on the other side, which we're using for general storage. They really like that those sturdy shelves. They want something with backs and.
I don't know, I'm thinking if we have anything that's running around in there that shouldn't be running around down there, whatever they drop will go through and not sit necessarily on the cans. I mean, I think it gives you a visual. You have a visual if anything is running around.
I will say.
Well,
I will-
true.
I will say this.
You have a visual anyway.
No, but not if it's enclosed and the cans are all in it.
My town has metal shelves, wire shelves, but and it's just cumbersome. All their food is in plastic bins, which I know Kathy would like. But you see the amount of food we have trying to.
Oh, you wouldn't be able to put those necessarily in a plastic bin. And you have an excess right now. You won't always have
No,
an
we won't.
excess.
By summer, we're probably. So, I had an Eagle Scout who was interested and I need to go back to him and say, kind of rethink this. So.
Well, the metal shelf, there's more, maybe we're talking about.
I'm talking about the wire. I got one of those
Safe
downstairs
droppings coming down, but then there could be things on below it, on that shelf, they couldn't come down.
I think you will have a better visual.
I don't know, I think we find, I haven't seen anything
Good.
lately, I really haven't, it's pretty obvious because they'll eat into certain things too, like
Oh, yeah.
cookies or crackers or.
No matter what
something.
it is.
You
Yeah,
can really catch it.
So, if there's another idea for an Eagle Scout project, I know this, that person is,
Would you make
but we had a couple exchanges, it started with the parents, then we had a couple exchanges and I know it's, kids just applied to colleges and things like that, so.
Is there any chance that he could do a Halloween van?
I know what she's talking about. I'm talking about this with the scarecrows, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had thought that we could have
Oh, okay.
like a model.
I mean, it's a wood project, it's one that would take quite a lot of,
Be seen.
Karen Walker had come up with that idea.
it's a great idea.
Mm.
And for an Eagle Scout, they'd have to work out not only how to create it, but how it could stand up safely.
Yeah.
So to me, it would have the math component of it.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
project.
I like that idea.
So next year for the, if we had Karen Walker,
Yeah.
who used to be a very active member of the center, she had an idea for the scarecrow event this year, and it was to have a school bus.
It's
And
really,
We'll have to have the senior bus.
have a senior bus. And so out of, what would you do it out of plywood?
Yeah.
Plywood, paint it, and so, and the windows
I
and,
mean, a felt project.
yeah, I don't know.
And then, for the windows, we could put our scarecrows in the windows.
That would be cute.
We could have the bus
Do
drive.
it on a stone wall. That would-
Yeah. But they'd have to do, I don't know how to get it to safely be mounted, but that would be a great
I
project.
think that's an easy peasy, just you have some supports coming off of it at an angle,
Gotta
correct?
watch the window, gotta watch the window. Gets to win.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to blow.
The support's easy enough, but if.
well, if you're butting it against the stone wall, that would give it some support, right?
But this to me would be why it would be a great project for the Eagle Scouts, because it's not just to do this, it's work out how to do this.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so Eagle Scout projects down there. We've been very blessed. So,
How about some of the fix-up projects? Do they do that or they?
it has to be something that's gonna,
Okay.
it's gonna last, like those shelvings, they're.
Because we thought if you had that we could continue it year upon year, and each year, we decorate the scarecrows in the windows differently and give it a theme.
Yeah. Good
I can
idea.
mention that, Carolyn.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, the wooden shelving too, you can spray it with Lysol spray or something and wipe it down or,
Bleach.
cleaning, I think.
Aren't there deterrents too, like you could buy these bags of things that have deterrents in them that they don't like the smell?
Is there a problem going on?
Honestly, folks are talking about the same thing.
I've been talking about.
I went, well, not just you, but one of the Girl Scouts the other day at the meeting, she said, "Can I free this bug?" And so she took the stink bug outside. I went online and peppermint too for stink bugs.
Oh,
So,
Yeah.
and they have, we bought peppermint spray, from Lowell's. So my husband and I, so if something like that, like, if people aren't offended, they'll find it offensive. So that's something we could do. So anyway, food is going really well. But just one other thing, just to, I know it's a kind of a, well, I'll come to it with an update.
Okay,
Yeah.
maintenance housekeeping.
So yeah, so just we've had some things done. We had the carpet cleaned on December 26th. We've added air purifiers. Those came through a grant from HR. We've got one right now downstairs, one upstairs. I've asked for another second one downstairs. So we could, there's one over in Charlotte's area, and then I want to put one over by the kitchen. So because the other two corners both have doors.
Right.
So this just to, and you know, it's something I've always wanted since I went to physical therapy. They had one there. Yeah, HR has been really good at, you know, helping us to get some equipment that can, you know, be better for the police. Shauna just got Shauna and Jen both got larger monitors. Shauna's convincing me to try a larger monitor. Shauna just got a rising desk. It's
Yeah, she's
so
thrilled.
cool. It's so cool. Yesterday she was working on a project and she wanted to stand. All she had to do is press the button and the desk rises up and she's right there, brings it down and she's doing her, you know, love her down.
And those are grants.
Yeah,
They're
those are
not
grants.
costing you any money.
Yeah, those are grants. We also got 2 new bottom fill water coolers. We're scheduled to have our water filters cleaned. It's like $148 to have one cleaned. It's something we can do with a kit that they also sell you for $12. But then Shauna had told me about, I think at home she has the little
Slide in.
yeah, slide in water. Nobody has to pick it up anymore and injure themselves. So, so the downstairs one, we've got it hot and cold. Upstairs, we made the decision it's only cold. It could be hot, but we would prefer to have people downstairs saying, hey, how do you do this? Because it's a little tricky, you know, the water.
are these being paid, how many being?
No, those are, actually, those have been both free. Now, those ones are free through rent-free rental. When I got the bill recently, they were trying to get us to pay for one and rent for one, and not the other. I'm gonna call them back and I'm gonna say, no, you never informed me of this, because the other 2 water coolers were free rentals. We paid for the water, but, so I'm gonna see if I can work something out with them. If not, I mean, the rental's $14, but, I think
Yeah, that's what he said.
the safety of not having to, any of us.
Yeah,
those
those
are-
are, you know, we're not young and,
No.
I schlepped those around when I moved the run stuff. You did too.
I did too at the office because nobody wanted to do it. So I was doing that every day.
Right, so, you know, so we're making some, you know, making changes, progress. I would like to consider at some point new carpeting. This carpeting is 18 years old.
We should put, as you go, we go through the budget process, because I know that's now. All these things should be there.
No, he doesn't want new things on this process. I haven't seen it yet, but he's supposed to give us, Jeremy's supposed to give us a separate sheet for new things. This budget is supposed to be for
Flat,
things now, and then we are level services, so we.
but that's level for the town. And what I mean by that's level for the town, so we could get a donation from fire budget, we could get a donation from police budget. It's the town's $2 million or $20 million.
You're saying that if they don't use all of their funds.
Or your priority could be higher than some of their priorities. So we should really ask, any budget process should ask what you need.
We're lucky you're on the committee.
Well, but we see that too late. That's a capital thing. I'm not on the budget committee. But you ask for what you need.
The other thing, I'd like to see, and I had, Jim told me that floors for his business. We're gonna have him come back and refinish the floor, but we're not gonna do it till spring. It's just, this is not the right time because it will pick up dust and whatnot, and
He
this.
said all he was interested in right now was new things. Or not new things.
No, the budget, the
The
work.
reason I'm bringing it up is the carpet would be a replacement, it's not a new thing.
No, that's not what I mean, but it would be new to our budget. It'd be something new to our budget. It's not our working budget. It's not our regular expenses.
But Jeremy still has a maintenance budget time-wise, so.
Yeah, and they've been very, very generous with us. So we've got the new dishwasher, we've got the stair lift, that was a pretty pricey thing.
Oh, yeah.
They, unfortunately, I have to contact John, who's the building maintenance person, along with Dan Byer. They came in Monday during the Friends meeting, during our training, never notified us, and Dan Byer felt horrible, because he came upstairs in the middle of first aid.
Oh, that was the parade.
Yeah, yeah, and,
That was ridiculous. It was.
so they came to, so one thing I've asked, there are new windows for the basement. Those windows are what, 30, 40 years old?
Mm.
And that's where we, had issues with drafts and whatnot. And then, the deck, they're coming out, and I assume that they're gonna have to get, they'll have to get an architect involved. They're gonna have to get several quotes.
Yeah, they can go straight to a builders, several builders, and they'll do it for you. They don't need that.
And we need that, and I can't wait to have a proper egress there because, talking to, I don't know if it was Diane, we were talking about, people in wheelchairs for like the New Year's Eve
You
party.
can't come into the front door.
Well, they could, but what about when you've got all these people there and if you have to leave quickly? So to have the rear
We
egress.
have to carry them out.
To have a rear
We have to
egress.
carry them out.
would be-
And even if my thought was, even if somebody was sick and they were sitting in their wheelchair over by the piano between the restrooms, and you have all these tables and people and everything there, and the emergency can't get over to them. So we have to think about that too,
Very good. Well, that building, it was designed for right that way, so it's.
The new deck, will it have, instead of stairs, is it gonna have a ramp?
I think it's gonna have both. I mean, I think that was the way I had seen it written up. I think it would have both.
I don't know. I mean, I've turned that over to Jeremy.
And so I'm meeting with Jeremy and I'll ask him about the carpet for tomorrow. If you, do you have, I have to meet with the analyst. I have a 1:00 meeting.
I've got Littleton, but we can get together before if you want to see what. Tomorrow?
Let's do
What's
Friday. Tomorrow's meeting.
Let's do Friday.
I'm with Jeremy tomorrow, but let's talk.
Let's talk by phone or something.
I've got a meeting with Jeremy and then a meeting with World War II at 2 tomorrow. So,
Tomorrow morning, you go?
no, I'm not available. Out of town tomorrow.
Well, maybe tomorrow afternoon sometime after one or two between.
Well, I've got that 2:00 meeting. I've got your meeting at 12:30. I've got a 2:00 meeting. Meeting's supposed to be with Karen at 10:00.
That's too
We
late.
need to clone this girl.
Well, no,
Anyway,
I was gonna put it in the mailbox on Friday, so that's
the
fine.
maintenance, I think, having the new building maintenance program has been really good. I mean, it's been
We
a
need to keep pushing them.
long time coming. So yeah, we could run the carpet through that. I'll talk to Jeremy tomorrow and see where he feels.
At the end of the day, if my carpet goes bad, it's not a new carpet, it's a new carpet, but I need to refresh it because it's
So
part
The
of
maintenance issue.
I mean,
Can we move on into
Yes.
event follow-ups? Okay, the Friends fundraiser, GML Theater, you already
Sure.
told us that already and how successful it was, which we're very happy about. The COA holiday dinner, we were all there serving. I thank you all for helping. And,
To say about that, I think I followed kind of Diane's model there. I think we had 36, we had 6 tables at 6.
Mhm.
Oh, and then I'm sorry, and then we had
Fruities.
The Fuji's table.
our hosts, which actually worked out fine. It worked out fine. So no, actually, we had 40. I think Shauna had done up the sheet for 40. 36 works out nicely, but yes, our hosts got to sit at the small, the
I
children's
told
table.
you, I said,
That's
you're the sweetheart table. I think do at
I
weddings.
think it worked out really well, the chemistry there at that table.
Oh, yeah.
It was very good.
And Bev Theo.
Yes, that worked out. I still, but I did, after talking to Peg, I had purchased a gift for the
Yeah.
future. I haven't gotten reimbursed yet. I just wanted to.
Yeah, you can.
But I wanted to talk to, it's like $35. So it was a cornucopia.
It was very pretty pleased in any other house.
So but generally this board votes on the COA gift accounts.
I don't have. a
That's fine,
problem with
that's fine.
Thank you.
the holiday dinner spot, we did. I saw Dick, where was it? One of the donut shops or someplace, because he hangs out. Would we consider moving it to another location? Because we waitlisted a bunch of people for that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because he doesn't care. He said, I don't care how many people Dick.
I know.
So I'm just thinking next year, as we go through these, we did talk about moving things to different venues. if they were sized too big.
And it shows that we have the lack of space.
And well, that's actually, the big thing is the people, right? The big thing we love is the engagement. You saw the engagement. I love it every time we see it. So if we don't have enough room, should we move it to somewhere else? And I don't really care where.
And we're gonna decorate it to make it look cozy and lovely.
Some places are already.
Right.
Some places already are.
Right, they are.
And then how much you're
Decorated.
gonna be spending?
We don't spend.
No,
Oh, geez. But the COA, they,
are they gonna pay for the rental of the building?
I don't, does the Unitarian Church charge us?
No, no, I mean, they've never charged us. Do they charge the Lions? I don't know. But to Ann's point, you know,
Are
the.
you gonna, there'll be no decoration?
I guess the end of the day, I would say, let's figure out how to decorate on the fly. Rather than not.
Yes.
Did we? Well, actually, didn't we have people show up that were on the wait list?
Yeah.
Well, did that happen?
Yes,
That's gotta figure a way to handle
And then
that.
they came in and then didn't eat the meal.
Oh, you're right. You're right. So the answer is yes, we have more people to come and eat that meal than
We have
space
waits.
for them.
We have
Yes.
waits.
weren't there people too who came and then went upstairs to play?
No, that was okay. That was
They
okay.
had registered.
They had registered.
Oh, they had registered.
Yes, those were my young people.
Yeah, yeah. No, but that was fine. But those are the people that just walked in.
Your people.
Get home. I mean, it is nice to have activities that are spent. I can see both sides of it. I can see trying to get as many people, because he doesn't care about the price. His heart is huge.
I think our event should service the people who have interest in it. So if they get big, we should move them.
So now what do we do? What do we say about people that are from out of town? Because some of the people on the wait list were from out of town.
Some of the people that came in and weren't even on the wait list
Were from out of town.
If you go to other centers, they don't ask you what town you're in. You can go to places.
And let's note, the people who are from out of town that work so hard for the Mendon Senior Centre, a large number of board members do not live in Mendon.
They're not going speaking of.
No.
But you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. So if you, and I know what you're saying, you know, Betsy and Juan,
Yeah.
you know, they're working in the kitchen, they help with all the activities.
But we do have people that just show up for particular functions that are of interest to them or free.
The interesting thing though, that all creates a social environment
Yes.
and interact. Why are we here? We're here to socially give activity, vibrant activity
To
to
elders.
elderly senior people and community. But, so I don't care if where they come from, because it might be a friend of the friend.
The person may not have been able to come if that other person didn't bring them.
And I don't want us to be a judge and jury. It's kind of better, like if we let one in, we should let. everybody.
You have to be consistent on that.
Is this?
I don't know how many souls.
Bigger than that.
Because you don't have
And with no kitchen, no table.
Yeah,
No.
You know, the-
good point. I mean, you're thinking outside the box, you know,
And the Unitarian Church is not the best, but it's a little bigger
it is bigger. And their capacity is 94.
than this kitchen.
I don't know atmosphere.
And
They must- They must have a rental fee.
When I thought if we were gonna have to model our center, our center and work outside, pretty much my mind said, we could work at other places. Different church, let's rent it, we could do exercise. We could. You know, we could adopt it and make it more friendly. You know, I just,
Sure, they wouldn't say no to decoration.
they would. And I know some people have a real issue with, the
Yeah,
but the space itself is a good space. It's a good bones, put it that way.
and as a kitchen.
I'd like to take the old paneling and paint it off-white or white or something, you know.
But that's,
Oh, yeah, we can worry about that.
but I guess what I'm saying, as we look at any of these events, if we think we're gonna have an overflow, let's be creative.
And let's start looking at it now.
Yeah.
let's not start looking at on December 1st.
The birthday bash are bringing more people in.
Yes.
And the sign-up sheets are always there, and I noticed people on their way out are looking, oh, what else is going on in this center?
Yeah.
We're getting more activity, which is good. That's all.
So,
The good news is we're getting more activity. Bad news, we can't.
So, I mean, what other churches are there? Because surely all the churches have a kitchen and
I've
a
never been in
event
Bethany.
room.
Been in Bethany?
I see that, I think there was one, but it was there for a
I mean,
certain.
but it's sad that there isn't something else in the area.
Well, the other alternatives, you can do the ballrooms or the rent places.
That's getting,
You get the question.
Yeah.
Get the question.
Any veterans place? Do we have a Legion Hall? or
Now, the
anything?
Vietnam-
16 as you're going down the hill.
Yeah, I'm super interested in they're getting some money to upgrade.
They wanted to really revamp that.
25, when Phil Dunleavy was the liaison to the seniors, 25 some odd years ago, they used to hold a Christmas party up at the club school. They've got videos of that. I mean, and I don't know how much it was there.
They don't have first vacation. Did they
I
have
mean,
a school
it's a
vacation?
Christmas party though.
Christmas parties sometimes go right up to Christmas. I mean, they usually get out of school a couple of days before, don't they?
And it could have been, maybe it was on a Saturday.
Maybe.
That was at Misco,
Club.
Glasgow. That downstairs
Absolutely.
was very,
yes, it could be done on a Saturday.
that used to be small.
Well,
Anyway,
we'll table it because it's only January, but you're absolutely right. You gotta get on it quickly.
Yeah, don't,
I know, you're right. You're right.
well,
We're not gonna cover today.
By next meeting, we should have maybe a list of ideas, okay?
yeah.
In place.
Oh, yeah, the Misco Hill Chorus, they were wonderful.
yes.
I thought the floor was gonna fall in.
They're all cute.
Well, we think that that's what, because I got sick, starting the next day, I was sick. Sean was sick.
The best.
Get the carpet cleaned. I wish I got to get a carpet cleaned before.
But they're always cute when they come through.
I
Oh,
did
your granddaughter got sick too?
Yeah, she got sick. A lot of that class got sick. Everybody got wiped out. I don't know how the seniors did. I was
That's fine.
You know, I thank you for the folks that came. I didn't realize at the time that that was your granddaughter, and so I was appreciative of you guys coming, but I'd like to see more people, more seniors come, although we had what, 48
We
children?
were already over capacity.
Yes, definitely.
we can always, could have had a couple more seniors.
That would have been-
I was there.
I was there.
Yes, you were.
Friend's birthday bash. Carolyn talked about that. And like I said, it's going very, very well.
And corned beef sounds good, by the way.
You're off my Christmas list now.
The corned beef has to be done just right. And I'm
So
that's true.
I will say Tri-Valley does it more, because I'm not a huge corned beef person, but they do it more like a deli meat. It's thin and it's tasty and it's, yeah. It's nice.
Chunk.
Anyway,
And I raised my son so that he cooks his own corned beef and cabbage because he likes that. Not my favorite meal.
I'm just texting Karen to make sure she makes you some.
She does. Once a year.
Once a year.
Well, I know you like to be consistent with the days. Have you thought maybe of changing it from the 17th to maybe
Got
the?
the entertainer now.
yeah.
Oh, you're right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're right, absolutely right. Okay. All right. Anyway, community celebration, we talked about that. Well, everything went well.
Yes. Feedback.
Yes, and I want to thank all those who've all helped.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I did not feel well for the setup or the day of the party itself. I was not feeling well.
I
And
know.
everybody just chipped in and helped. It was
She stepped up to the plate. She came and she volunteered both setting up and
Yeah.
Joanna, Jen's daughter helped with it. We had her doing the things. I mean,
You were spectacular.
I'm a party person.
Yeah, you helped me right from the start, ordering things and getting it.
I'm a party player.
Yeah,
I
so
think
very
it should be the standing committee.
No.
person for all these.
Always happy to help. Just
The
right.
decorations for us.
Decorations I got.
In your.
And I think this is my last year of doing it. I
It's all
just,
right. It's okay, you know, you can move on to something else. No, because.
Well, just sitting and enjoying a party, but.
No, you help with the, you know, the fairs and the knitting and all that stuff. Bingo, the date is to be determined, so we have.
Yeah, so, yep, so I offered. Because I heard, you know, folks would like to see things, you know, first week of the month, if it was a standing, you know, first Tuesday, because what I understand is, the friends have talked about, we're not talking about any food. Talking about just the bingo, whatever type of bingo it is, if it's music bingo or social
Yeah.
bingo. If it's gonna be an anchor, but, you know, we all have to look at something different. The cooking program, I have an issue starting to hold things on Fridays. We do friends have meetings on Fridays, we have food pantry on Fridays. We don't have staff on Fridays. And I think just by having cars in the parking lot, like when we're doing food pantry, it attracts people. People come in to, you know, ask about equipment, to ask about a program, and there's no one there to assist. I mean, sometimes I'm running between floors. So my concern about holding things on Fridays is coverage. You know, we're technically open Monday through Thursday.
Let me jump in. As a Friends, we were looking at it just like whether the Boy Scouts go in or the Lions, that we would be completely responsible for opening the building, holding our event, cleaning up, locking up and leaving. Just like any of the other groups in town.
For the cooking, yeah.
For the cooking, that's how we would look at it.
Like, is it every month or every other month?
No, it's once a quarter. It's not
Once a
every
quarter,
3
it's
months.
only one time.
How does the board feel about that?
Is that the cooking program that Donna was talking
Yeah,
about?
Donna and Betsy, I think.
Well, maybe one of the staff members. It's not gonna be the same as food distribution, right?
No. No.
Well,
And I mean, you literally have a board member and a council and aging member doing it. But it's like, if we were the Lions, would we be having this discussion, or would you say we would like it on a Friday over a lunch? You know?
What you say?
I think it should be, I agree with Carolyn.
You're gonna leave the place, you know,
Exactly.
after all, if
We're gonna trash
you know,
it.
3 strikes and you're out, you know, you're gonna do.
Oh.
I can see this.
And I've been there on a Friday for just different reasons and everything, and people come see, center open on a Friday, I saw your car there. Everybody knows my car, everybody in town knows my car.
So somebody shows up, I think we should do it.
Even my husband knows your car now. Oh, Diane must be there.
The lines, of course, are there at night. So that's different, right? The lines are there, but the Girl Scouts are there in the afternoon.
They come in at 4:30.
The
Yeah,
Girl
and they
Scouts.
close and lock it up. They lock up.
The Girl Scouts overnight programs.
I guess if somebody did show up.
I mean, people do show up when we're having our board meeting. We just either invite them to join us or we redirect them and say, no, we're not open today.
Right.
Yes, do pick up your letter from your pen pal. Thank you and goodbye.
Well, I'm going to give it a try because we
Yeah,
want
it's like once a quarter.
right, I mean, really.
And it's important for Donna's on, but scheduling wise,
Yeah.
they're just not available. People who want to do this are not available.
So what's and it's gonna be like something like maybe a soup one time, maybe a. This is a meal, it's just a
Not a
sample.
meal, it's a cooking demonstration and then we all get to sample it.
Yeah.
And of course, it'll depend how many people there have large portions. Because they're not, you know, cooking for 30 people. They're doing a demonstration, you know.
So is a chef coming?
I've done cooking shows before too. Years ago. But anyway, what it was is that you had to. Whatever you're making, you make and had that put aside.
Yeah.
And then you showed them how to do that, because you've got to take into account times to cook things on
Yeah.
the stove. or make things. So what they were sampling was what you had already made from home, but you demonstrated to them.
That's what they do on TV when they have.
Right.
That's true.
Something already made, but
Yeah.
they go with-
That's right, because you've got to put in time for cooking, baking, simmering.
I know Betsy was talking about the salad that she plans to make.
Oh, salads.
How to show, you know, how you don't need much everything else to make.
It's wonderful. We had a great, the one that her grandmother did for the spring rolls. And it made it a little difficult because she was frying them and so it's time consuming. That was the time consuming. But a salad. Right, okay. So what's the answer about it?
So if you're okay with it, I mean, I'm gonna be talking to Karen on Friday.
I'm okay with it.
Sure.
I'm just doing Friday afternoon.
I would be over lunch time, I guess, in like 11 to 1.
And once every 3
Yeah,
months.
so it's
Yeah.
quarterly.
I think it's worth a try.
Yeah,
It's worth a try.
Who's reimbursing the cost of their food?
It was in the Friends budget.
Perfect.
Is it, do we get start date for the bingo?
Well, no, you just said the Karen's working on getting the appropriate paperwork.
That should come within a matter of 30 days,
So there's no projected time frame for the bingo.
we just need.
But I say that we were reluctant. Is there any way that the newsletter could come out in the previous month?
In the previous, it's after I finish this and the meeting after this and then a couple meetings tomorrow, I'll probably be working this long weekend. It's hard to get work at nights. I work. I've got good concepts.
Let me just throw this out. If, like, you managed to get the January one out in November. So could the February one almost be done in December to get a month ahead?
You mean in the future? She's looking at the
You know what? But you know what? I just got confirmation, all these events that I talked about, hearing back from, and sometimes I'm going back over the course of a month or two, trying to get a date, you know, solidified, but anyway, so my thought was, like, if you know that it's gonna start in March, let's put something in the February one for March and going forward. New event, friends, you know, thing, but also, what I understood, it wasn't always gonna be, it was gonna alternate the bingo type of.
I think we have budgeted for 2 musical bingos. Although we have the budget for bingo, the intent is that it will be self-financing. That I know the Uxbridge program, they pay $10 to play, and that $10 is split up to the number of games that are going to be played, and that's how the money goes out. And if there's any that because it doesn't divide equally, what's left pays for popcorn or something, so people have a.
So you're gonna be, what I understood was you'll alternate music bingo 1 month.
But so they only plan to do 2 music
Two
bingos
music bingos.
You mean in general?
in the whole year.
That's too bad.
Well, that's costly.
Yes.
So like 120 and 121, 121, 130, and then we give the $20. I know people really enjoyed that.
Well,
Okay, well, we'll work on that. Talk with Karen about that.
And I happen to know with the newsletters, even the newsletters come in and look the day that they arrive.
It's the post office.
And they also me doing the out of town ones, I bring that home and I get it out and they go out the next day.
Yeah.
And because I've had people say to me, well, I didn't get my letter. Well, I'm sorry, I mailed it, you know.
Out of town, you don't have a lot
I
of
picked
control.
my mail up at the post office and I didn't get it for 4 or 5 days.
everything leaves town. That's my opinion. I don't think there's any more local, you should just put a slot there for mendonma. That's gone. Everything leaves town.
You know, what she said was true. And I would go right there and I pick it up on the shelf. That's how I get it quicker.
Because I had, what was it, Larry? Larry got a hold of me and he was complaining. It took so long. I said, Larry, it comes into the center, I get it out of the center. So you should be
It's the
getting
post
it.
office.
You have to go to Shrewsbury, I believe.
Yeah, well, they go into Boston.
I don't know where they.
That's like, you know, and then there's something too, since we're talking about newsletters, if I can bring that up.
Go ahead.
The out of town newsletters, the premise has been when people sign up to be a member of the Friends, they can get the newsletter. It's costly and it's coming out of the COA budget. Is that something that should come out of the Friends budget? You know, is there,
What are we talking about for money? Can you give me a
we're
parameter?
talking about 80,
Yeah, 80
A month?
80, yeah.
80
So it's 80
letters.
times 78, because that is going out first class. just something to discuss.
Bring it 80 times, give me that 80 times,
80 people,
yeah,
80 times 78. So it's $62 a month. They're not Mendon residents.
And that goes out.
who pays for it if they're a Friends member?
We do, we've been doing it, we've been paying for it.
Right, I don't think we should. The newsletter is.
I think that when you send out the January newsletter, which of course is December, you put it in an envelope and you put a letter and remind people that are out of town that they need to pay $10 a year to
Yeah,
pay for the postage.
yeah, I was thinking,
You know, we are happy and delighted to have you as members of the Mendon community. However,
Right.
there is, we would.
I think Milford charges you for the newsletter.
who does?
Milford,
They do?
I believe so.
Anyway, that's something we could look into. We could, okay, but now, on the flip side, and this is something I'll talk to Karen about too. For ever and a day, the Friends have a bulk mailing permit,
Oh, that's good.
which saves the Council on Aging $175 a month. For about, that's internal, the Mendon only, by having that. I don't know if the Friends.
You pay bulk
It's,
permit?
I think it's $350.
Oh, well,
It's
you're
going,
already paying something then, I didn't realize that.
so that's for in town. So, I mean, if you feel that it's gonna be a wash between the two, but I didn't see that on the,
You can sort it out. I mean, one way or the other, figure out, we should know what the money is and then figure out how to cover it.
Well, getting them to join the Friends organization is the right answer.
but we do that, we do that.
But if they only joined once, when they first sign up, that's $10, and then they keep getting the newsletter.
So with the exception of, like our counterparts, we do send to other senior centers and businesses that support us. We could, the Friends, the list of everybody from out of town, because basically you have it, you get it every month.
Yeah.
And then have the.
That's reference to a members list.
Yeah, you have to be a member, but then where does that, if the money is going to the Friends, does it?
And they pay for the postage. I'm sorry, I'm just speaking.
Yeah, no, you're thinking out loud, so I think it's something to consider.
Well, you know what, this is what I'm thinking, if you show me the list, and I know people personally, I think a personal contact might be the best thing. To say, oh, I'm a friend of the Mendon seniors and, and I get the newsletter and, would you give it a thought about joining? I mean, the meetings are optional, we like people to go, but.
Well, I think they joined once, is I think what Carolyn's saying, but what we could do, if there was a flyer to put into just the out of towns, and some of the out of towns, they do.
There are the members.
I mean, maybe just a reminder that, $10 is due because if you wish to continue receiving the newsletter.
Right,
So that's something, yeah.
we'll have to give it a little more thought.
Yeah, give it,
Because how are we gonna know if they're out of town is whether they've signed up to be a friend of?
I think we could cross-check with Joanne, right, or with the treasurer.
Oh, Joanne's got the.
Joanne's got it, yeah.
good.
We can cross-check the
That's
list.
true, that's true.
All right. Sometimes the personal touch when you reach out helps a little bit. All right, okay, all right, van driver update, good news.
Yeah, good news, Paul
Paul's
Sarah is up and running, doing really well, he's out delivering food today, he's bringing people to the center today for activities. He's just so helpful, we really like him. One, other aspect item, I'm gonna have him pick up Mark Russo, when he was with us, when he was in charge of equipment, durable medical equipment. So. About, Jen, our outreach coordinator, because of her OT, PT background, to just come up with a system when, equipment comes in, check to see if it's, viable, clean it. List. And so Wayne has created the daily list, and Wayne has created also the kind of this the other list that, things that if you have time, you can, do this. Mostly it's like come in, turn the light up, put the flag up, things like that. It's working out really, really well. His training, he's chipping away at them. Final ones I have to find for him is the wheelchair securement and lift training. He's doing CPR next week with the police department, which I think is fabulous that he'll get to know some of the officers. He may know them already. He's pretty well known. I guess he's one of your neighbors. I just
That's his favorites.
Yeah,
And it looks like halfway.
yeah, so just a good report of people, he sees things that needs to be done, and so, just really, really happy with that. Oh, I did want to let you know, I had Shauna clean up this is a list of all the people that take the van. Still need a couple more tweaks, but we currently have over 25 people that use the van on a regular basis. Wow.
Good.
They use the van for grocery shopping, they use the van to go to medical appointments, they use it to go to senior center, for errands and so forth. The procedure is we're having, weekly meetings at the senior center. This week we had a full staff with the drivers and trying to impress upon the drivers that, say you're bringing someone to the center or to an appointment and they say, oh, by the way, could I? The driver is supposed to call back to the center to Sean or myself and say, is it okay? Because some passengers will try to take advantage of the seniors, like, but it's if it's their own personal transportation. And they may not understand, well, this person needs to get back to the center because they're taking somebody home or they've got another medical.
And you could have gotten a call that you have to, and you know that there's some space there.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And if
You've
you
got to stay, that's not my decision.
exactly, training, we now have, if I could tell you last month, because I don't know, we were over last month, we now have a phone for the van. I'm so happy.
Oh, really good.
So, well, we always had a phone, but the guys, it was a pay as you go, but the size was small and they didn't feel comfortable using it, so they started to revert to their own phones, which they should not. The town just gave us a nice big Samsung, which is foreign to me because I use an iPhone, but they'll learn to use it. Same thing with Jen. Jen has.
Which was, put it on speed dial, but.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'm gonna have Shauna do. I've already put the senior center on, a couple other things, when we first got it, but I'd like Shauna, and we talked about, actually, Wayne talked about putting our clients on there, and I said, that's a great idea. One thing I've wanted, and Shauna has finally done it, is I wanted cards that when you drop your client off at or to the hospital, where you give them a card, and the card they can give to the receptionist, to the doctor's office, when they're ready to be picked up, that person can then call the van.
Right.
The only problem with that is then the seniors then have access to the van's phone number. And I know Wayne's already gotten a number of calls from one particular rider, and I will speak to that rider. That rider should not be calling Wayne, he should be calling the center, so. But,
You're always gonna have a glitch. Right?
yeah.
Somebody's gonna-
But it's nice to have those, we printed them on nice bright yellow paper. So you hand it to someone, and so things are going very well, the numbers are picking up, and couldn't be happier. We've got two really reliable, great drivers. Wayne is Monday, Tuesday, and Paul is Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay, new business. Let's go 27 budget you want to talk about.
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to just say is, and I'll talk a little bit more with Phil, but the really were level services. So we can increase some amounts. One thing I've never increased this time is postage. So tying
It's gone up
into,
again.
yes, tying into this, and it's gone up again. I did some homework last night from several years ago. We used to pay, let me see here, this is for bulk mailing too. Right now, we're paying 60 cents to mail out a newsletter to Mendon residents. That savings, as I said, that savings of 18 cents, or basically $175 a month. And we do 10 issues. We do the combined issue for
2 months of
December, January, and
July and
then
August.
July and August.
For 1750.
So, yeah. $75 a month. So it's time to increase that. Now, it'll probably just be a modest increase of maybe, I'm thinking $250. We also pay out of the state grant for that. And as I said, the Friends have typically paid the bulk mailing permits, so we can't get on that, the budget, so I'll have to see if that is just included and maybe just postage. COA van, we had increased it for this year to $6,000 to get new tires and to get the van front end alignment. We will back out that money, so we've traditionally been 2,500 for van fuel. We traditionally go over that slightly, so I'll probably increase that $3,000. Maybe more. Phil might advise maybe more because of maintenance. It is an older vehicle. So, but we definitely do not need to ask for $6,000 for the tires are there, they're on. Last year, we did get money for our new chairs, so we can pull that out. So I think whatever increases we do decide to put in, they'll be pleased because it's gonna look like, when we pull those other things out for the van tires and then for the chairs, it's gonna look like we're, we don't.
Asking for less.
We're asking for less.
Well, level funding would imply that you're gonna spend
No, we're level services.
level service.
So we can put in for increases. But our heat and our oil heat and our electricity really are washes. We've been the benefactor of some great discounts for the electricity. I don't know if it's because of solar, but so lights, the electricity and fuel for building really kind of are a wash. Sometimes one is more than another. We are, travel and training. This year we stayed within our budget. We're within our budget, but we did have 3 employees that went to the conference.
So that's okay. It's a learning experience. for us.
Yes,
It's not our fault that they charge so much.
this year it was.
You said it was quite high.
So I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I haven't seen it yet. Remember I don't know, those of us that went to Devon's, we were able to take anybody from the board that wanted to go to Devon's. And it was a mini conference. It was a lot of the same subjects. We did have Mark Stefano drive us there.
That was a good trip.
Yeah, so and that was so inexpensive. So we'll try to do that. I'd like for the board to be up on what's happening in our fields. So I'm really not anticipating a lot of increases. Our contract services are almost to a T. Now that we have the custodian twice weekly, our contract services, I ran up through the numbers last night, are approximately 11,500, which is what I think it was like maybe 50 cents less. That's what we budgeted for. That's what I put all of our anything that has like contract services. We have Dewey Pest Control, our fire inspection, carpet cleaning, maintenance for copier, furnace of maintenance, my senior center expense, miscellaneous repairs for our garage doors, custom alarm. We have 2 big expenses for them. One is $750 for the actual daily monitoring. And the other is $765. And now it's more, I think it's maintenance. There's two separate contracts. I don't know if that's something, Phil, that we should ask, and I can mention it to Jeremy tomorrow, if the town.
That should roll into one contract.
It probably should, because it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We've also had repairs through Frank's appliance and locksmith and our stair lift maintenance, which we haven't had to do much of anything because it's so new, but yes, though our contract services will remain 11,500 unless there's something else that we need to.
Well, I guess contract services and maintenance kind of. I don't think you might want to the building inspector.
Mhm.
I'm assuming he did a broader inspection of the buildings. I don't know if we need a roof.
So our roof is a 30-year roof and it was was put on, well, I've been 18 years. It was probably about 20 years into a 30-year roof. I'll mention that to him.
Because I had a 30-year roof on my house that I replaced in 22 years.
Alan Tatro with the highway department, he had the roofs put on both of our buildings at the same time. He was in charge of that, so.
Okay, I mean, there's things, how old's the water heater, how old's the boiler?
The water heater was just a couple of years old.
Okay.
It went in, it wasn't in conjunction with the furnace, but it was through a grant, energy saving grant. We also had, and we had a new water heater, and they took it up to put in another.
More efficient though.
No, it was just through the grant. So I'm like, why? Yeah. And
So those kind of things, if you look at the things fuel is your burners, your furnace, your heating, your roofs, some of the molding and stuff around, not molding around the doors.
Yeah.
We don't molding, so we tell you should look at that. Health Inspector Dan Bauer,
You mean the interior or the exterior?
exterior.
Okay, I was gonna say, yeah, because the interior, it's relatively new.
And then you were thinking about painting, because we haven't painted some things for a while. Didn't you, we think about painting less?
Interior trim.
Interior, exterior,
Was done during the pandemic.
okay,
The stairs, the whole thing was done,
okay,
but
that's fine.
the stairs need to be done, I'm just, yeah.
There's general maintenance things that every year when I look at my house, I figure I'm gonna spend, X amount of dollars.
Necessarily gonna go through, maybe the time is gonna come, we're gonna pull more of that contract stuff out,
And that's great.
That's where it should be town-based.
yes.
Should
So,
be town, but it
so
should be-
this, we should really be looking at this as things to run our center, our program.
Pest control, quarterly bills,
Yeah.
monthly bill, whatever it is. Whatever that is, should be a service. The guy who does,
So I'll talk to him about all those things tomorrow.
yeah, get a feel for that, then we can chat.
I mean, because all it will mean is maybe pulling those things out eventually, maybe. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe better, have a bigger budget than doing that.
Well, the thing about, yes, there's a thing about that.
And also you could get a scale, you could get a price. If he has 5 buildings under one contract instead of one for
I
5
think,
individual.
for example, they're gonna be going, they're gonna be asking that our custodian who does, he's there last night, he does an excellent job. I believe they're gonna be going out to bid because he does so many buildings and it's such a price point that they have to, it's over, say, $5,000 or, it's well over 5,000. Ours is $6,000 to our building. That's where contract services went up by $6,000.
Which is appropriate.
And, but we're doing, I think he's doing the library, he's doing this building, our building. I don't know if he does the police.
We can check. We should think about things like refrigerator, how old is it?
New,
Okay.
kitchen one is new, basement one is new.
Okay.
But see, those aren't things that are gonna be on this.
No, but that's under 25,000, so it'll be part of you should be anticipating that in your budget. Because on a capital plan, it's gonna be 25,000
Yeah.
plus.
He asked us to not put new things on this, to have it, he's got.
Separate sheet, okay.
Yeah, separate.
I'm listening on a separate
So,
sheet.
yeah, that's good. This is something you and I need to do.
We'll sit and talk, we don't have to.
So the long and short of it, I don't expect a lot of increases. There's gonna be a couple decreases and
So this should just fly.
it should just flat. Now, they're gonna ask me, one thing he did say, our biggest expense is the contract services. They're gonna probably say, what is made up, when I meet with them tomorrow, I'll give them a list.
Yeah.
This is, and I was shocked at how it came down to like pennies.
I think your contract services really need to be 2 buckets.
Mhm.
One which will be like the alarm companies, like those kind of things that are recurring, the contract service. The other ones tends to be a maintenance expense, where you got to fix a garage door, you gotta do this.
Right.
So there's actually 2 categories.
Yeah.
So when you look at that list,
Mhm.
you may want to take a look at your expenses and break it to two sections.
Yeah, so because, when this was created, we didn't have a building maintenance company. So since that does exist, Dan Byer has come down and done the weather stripping on that exterior garage door. He's done painting of the entry ramp, the railings and things like that. He's got some cement, he's gonna be doing finishing some posts or fixing some posts. He's come down, he's looked at the windows in the basement, and again, they came the other day, I don't know where that, but I'm very pleased. I'm pleased that we
Where's
know
that
that.
money come from?
The town, they have a building maintenance, line item that's has nothing to, I shouldn't say nothing to do with us. We don't have to take it out of our budget. So, please, I'm pleased.
Okay, we move on, Doug.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Is this starting July 1st?
Yes.
Okay, now on your budget for your postage, already you're over that for this year. Are you going to increase postage?
Slightly, probably by 250, the bulk of our postage is paid out of the state grant.
Okay.
Yeah, so state grant also pays for the salaries of 2 of our employees. So, but it's still, the fact is, because we are local services and I've never increased it, we should.
Yeah.
We should, because I feel a bit over my shoulder saying,
Yeah, but sure.
Is there a state grant that gets renewed every year?
yes, yes.
Is there a top limit on the state grant?
It's per the number of seniors.
So they could actually absorb the newsletter postage.
They do a lot of it, but we still have it in, the town should be somewhat responsible for it too.
Well, I'm not sure how we handle grant money here. I mean, you still have a bunch of sources that income with the state grant. I don't know how that all works. I don't know.
So the state grant. It's exactly. So she's. So we do all that stuff. All the time. Let's move on to the, okay, it's 4:12, just.
I was just wondering if they could, take the full mailing part of it.
But you pay that you pay now, you say.
Yeah, so the thing about that has to be nonprofit. But I mean, they
Nonprofit.
we're not a 501c3.
Not a 501c3. Town is, well, I'm not sure what they're.
Are there
they
that
spend money.
many out of town?
I think it's been nice that we've had
It's not out of town people, you know, a lot about it town.
80 of them.
Yeah.
80 people.
They like us.
Oh, 80?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what, I hear, I mean, people tell me, you're a very friendly center, and they feel welcome.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, let's see. That's, no, discuss that.
No, so there, one suggestion was,
Putting pictures. I think,
and then the pictures, because we have so little room, I haven't talked to LPI yet about increasing a page, pictures. But the other thing we could do, and I'd love it, because maybe perhaps Shauna could do it, it could be a separate sheet, it would be a little bit more cumbersome when it comes to putting this together, but a separate insert that has pictures on it. Do you remember how, I don't remember how Laura used to do some really fun stuff with it, where you can have a program, you can you can load, say, 30 pictures into it. And then it'll make a scramble them up and make a really cool display. That's one thing. Or, it'd be nice if someone else got the pictures and wanted to do something like that, and it could be an insert, or they could be something that's eventually sent to me and I could add it if they the pages here. But the reason I brought this up is that a suggestion was made to me to make the newsletter a little bit more community friendly. Because when we were going, the first time we went out for a new building, we went out for a community center, and senior community center. I personally don't feel a need to change the name of this publication at this time. We changed it a couple years. A few years back. First one was created by the contest, and it was actually your wife. Your wife, the Vancouver Senior Sentinel, and I think she gave us the thumbs up when it came time to refresh it. And I can't recall who came up with this, but we had a committee. So Mendon Senior Things, I personally like it. I personally don't know that we need to add the word community there. We are truly community center. But how does everybody else feel? Do you like the name? Would you like to consider changing? Yeah.
It goes to target audience, it goes to the seniors, it doesn't go to the community wide. Yeah,
Somebody else suggested that we list who is actually using the building and our calendar after the senior events, and I think that that's a very good idea. So that they see that other agencies, like Girl Scouts, Alliance, are using the building.
I agree, if we can.
I've been kind of running it by a few people and I've got you to think. Because I'm somewhat worried that it might be a little confusing. You know, why does it say, junior Girl Scouts here or something like
We're
that?
putting it under a senior event. In other words, the top eye-catching is the senior events. That's just like a side.
I think I get,
So it'd be Lions Club here, Girl Scouts would be here. First Tuesday of the month, the Boy Scouts meeting. First, second Tuesday of the month, we have the Cub Scouts meeting.
I think the public needs to know that.
They do.
You okay with that?
Right, but we are actually a community activist center, so.
what community news other than a date?
Yeah,
You'd have to be getting, it'd be a bigger project than we'd want to handle.
The prior, what is the name? Free press. The free press. That, you always have a page of all the activity, everything that's in here is in there.
And goes to the community.
right.
But
Let's take
you'd be
baby steps.
surprised how many people throw that out, that comes in the mail. I've heard people say it. I never look at that. They throw it out.
But likewise, there are people that don't, read this. So it's funny, so when people come to the center, to sign up for something, I'll say, oh, where did you learn of that? Free press, because, well, especially if they're from Upton.
Oh, yeah.
Unless they subscribe to this, or they'll tell me newsletter, or I saw it online, or I do email blasts periodically to let folks know to kind of, boost some of the attendance for certain programs, but, yeah, so
I think we should keep the title the way it is.
keep it.
Let's take baby steps by just adding those in.
So like somebody mentioned, it's not like we're getting news about the Boy Scouts that we're gonna be talking about, we're just giving them a slot.
Right.
Yes.
Like people say, it's used. I go by there at night, I see the lights on. Oh, now I know why.
Thimble pleasure, only, from the weekend ones I won't be able to show because.
Symbol pleasures have found another location.
They do use Upton predominantly, occasionally, our building, you're right.
For
But our
space.
newsletter only goes out to seniors.
But isn't
I think it
it
goes
in
out to
different
people.
places?
It goes out to people who ask for it.
It's
So,
like
yeah.
this is like.
Okay, so do you have a point to me?
Well, it's not, I would like to see it maybe in the free press that goes out to everybody.
It is. I mean,
If you put it on that schedule, we'll go out on the other schedule.
the free press is kind of I have to kind of juggle this. The free press is the 10th through the 11th through the 10th, the 11th of this month through the 10th of next month, and this is supposed to be monthly. People that do subscribe online get it sooner, things like that, but, so
I just thought it would be confusing to put it in the senior.
the activities.
If you put the activities of who's there, I can imagine seniors going, oh, I'd like to see what the Boy Scouts are doing, toddling along.
That was one big concern I had.
If I saw Boy Scout meeting, why would I go to a Boy Scout meeting? I mean,
You wanna go down there and
Because
decorate.
because it's on the senior newsletter.
Right,
So there was an assumption if it's on the senior newsletter, that it's for seniors to go to.
right. You'd say to yourself,
Oh, that
I
would
would
be
just, oh,
interesting.
why not Boy Scouts having a meeting?
Well, you haven't asked about it.
I mean, it said Misco Hill Chorus. It's not just for people of the Misco Hill. It was for the seniors to go to. That was my thought, is it could be confusing. Yes, I'd like everybody to know in town how much the senior centre is used. I'm just concerned by putting it on the newsletter is an assumption it is a senior activity.
well, we're only
I like-
saying, I'm an asterisk saying for participants only. In other words, like Boy Scout meeting, asterisk. For participants only.
Yeah, I like that.
That will give them there's gonna be a signature.
Yeah,
It's too much, no one explanation for it.
leave it with the newspaper.
Then putting it in
Free
the calendar itself, could we have a paragraph outlining the meetings that would come.
I don't think it's our responsibility, especially if people aren't gonna be encouraged to go to them, you know?
Yeah.
To that, right, the Girl Scouts on Mondays from 4 to 6, the Girl Scouts on Thursdays, which they're gonna be here
Well,
tomorrow.
I thought the purpose was to make it more community friendly, that,
Purpose is to let people know that it isn't just senior activities going on in that building.
The asterisk could say non-senior event, it doesn't have to say,
There you go.
for participants.
I'm sure it doesn't be in the calendar itself.
Because what you want to do, we try to get a building. And part of what my thought behind this is to show people how utilized the facility is. I've gone down to the building department and I know Amy and I have looked around the grounds and everything. And, you know, people say, well, gee, you've got grounds here, you can expand. Well, we can't.
Right.
Unfortunately, they don't have any information over there that tells you where the septic is or the water or anything or the wetlands. So as people look at the building, say, well, you've got plenty to do there and you can use it. Well, we can't use it. And so, but other people do use the building. And you're right, it's not a senior event, but it shows utilization of a building. And the community needs to buy into this for us to try and go forward
That's
with
right.
another center.
That's right.
So,
And with some of their events, they'll understand what the parking problems are. They're dropping the kids off and picking them
They're all non-senior event,
yes,
asterisk non-senior event kind of
Yep.
qualifies it better. Then somebody may show up at a Boy Scout meeting.
up. That's up to them to.
Actually, the Boy Scouts are probably thrilled.
Okay.
I think it's a small bit this year. Sometimes there's people there, they're meeting. And recently it's been.
All right. I think we should move on.
Well, there's,
Oh, I'm sorry, did you have
no,
something to say?
I'm just looking outside all the police cars and everything, is that?
Oh, is it getting ready for the?
Oh, is that Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
so the wait is for the service.
Today's the,
There's gonna be like a drive-through.
Franklin, today is the calling hours.
It's in, calling hours today is Franklin.
Parade of-
But they are going to be going back from Franklin to St. Mary's Church, not the church, the cemetery.
Tomorrow,
And that's on Oak Street.
that's tomorrow.
If they wanted
Right.
to kind of line up between the steakhouse and
Yeah.
me and.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna go, personally, I think
Yes,
they're
it
gonna
is.
do Route 16 right by my house.
Because the wake is
Yeah.
Tuesday, they're gonna be moving
St. Mary's in Uxbridge.
Oh,
to Maya, they're having.
And so yet they haven't held service.
It's in Franklin.
Amy, Calvert, is that what you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, actually, I don't have it here together. Like I said, I have.
We talked about it a little last month, I think.
We did, we talked about it a little bit last month, and I was just trying to finalize a lot of these programs that are coming up.
Paragraph, no,
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. I was hoping to have something a little bit more cleaned up, but that's fine.
what do you want me to say there?
Tabled, update tabled or something like that.
Okay,
Okay, possible funding request from the Friends, 2026.
I think the Friends have already established their budget. I think in years past, we had, requested things from the Friends. I guess I will probably. Care about this, but, to see if they're not gonna be, they're building in some of the events that they've already funded before, they're building into their own budget, not as if it's from a request from the COA. Is that, Carolyn, would you agree with that?
Exactly, and I think our budget is really focused on programs.
Programs, yes, and so there are some things that the Friends have paid for previously. I want to throw out with Fly the Flag program.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm trying to think why and how that got requested of the Friends. But if that's something that they're no longer gonna pay for, I think it's something that a lot of people take pride in, being, part of that, and it's, let's say, 175, I think that's what it's for the 4 flags. And so I don't know if that's something Friends will continue to do. It's nice to be able to put things in the newsletter and say sponsored by the Friends or things like that, and certainly we'll be able to do that under programs and activities, but.
I think all those things are possible. Sit down with Karen.
The other thing, bulk mailing, that bulk mailing permit that we talked about. We cannot, the town cannot get one,
Because they're not the
we're not a
501c.
501c3 nonprofit. So, and there are a lot of things that, the Friends are like a gate to many programs. There's a lot of things like, for example, Waters Corporation. They might have an employee that wants to make a donation, but can only do it to a 501c3. They want to do it for XYZ, so I don't know what kind of, relationship, symbiotic relationship we'll have going forward, but having, ourselves working together, that 501c3 is
It's a benefit.
beneficial.
I think just a regular meeting with Darren the board. As a friend.
I know the understanding is just like, has the town been asked if they can do it, or can you do it also out of the Council on Aging funds? There's also,
Yeah, I mean, there's two, council on aging money, there's the town's money, there's the friend's money.
Is there still a beautification budget, a separate beautification?
I don't know that there is.
and I'm not convinced that we actually had a budget from you last year.
I just ran across it.
Yeah, I think we put something.
Yeah, in layers.
One of my,
And anyway,
I mean,
perhaps this could be tabled for now and be put together for next month for
Yeah.
after you've had a meeting with
That's
Karen.
what we have to have the flowers and the mulch.
yeah, good stuff, all good stuff.
And well, maybe that's something we put through, this. I just think it's always been nice that we've had a good working relationship and we've been able to share, some of those. The expenses,
It's best for everybody.
yeah,
I mean, with the increase of programs that the Friends is generating, these are not cheap.
No, I know that.
And we have to fundraise to get this going, which is why we're just finding all the other pots of money going around that we could use rather than the Friends money. I mean, everybody here that I see helps us with this fundraising. It is hard work
Yes.
and it's not an infinite bucket. So if we can find somewhere else to source anything, we want those sources, whether it's a grant, whether it's the town, whether it's your monies that you've got for the Council on Aging. Let's use those monies as well. Let's not always go to the Friends first.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, the town, all those other sources, yeah.
Okay, so we're on open forum now? I'll go last. Anything on the forum? Carolyn? Kathy? Carolyn? Diane, go ahead.
Okay, I have two things. One is, Jim's father had passed away.
Yeah.
And we were gonna do something about funding
I
for,
can tell you, I spoke with her yesterday for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Her father is going to be buried down at the Cape at the National Cemetery.
Yeah.
And she said it isn't going to be scheduled till about the 29th.
uh-huh,
So it buys us a little time is what I'm saying.
all right.
But yes,
So I was gonna give
Going
you,
to the funeral home today.
to do, she's been writing this obituary and things like that.
so is anybody collecting money yet or anything?
Well, I think if we're going to give her something, can't we use the gift account rather than our own money?
If you want.
Oh, all right.
I mean, I would think so.
Oh, okay, because I was just planning on giving you some
I
money.
think that makes sense.
No, I don't think you have to. I think it should come out of the gift account. She's a member of the staff.
Oh, okay, all right. That takes care of that one. The other one I've been speaking with Amy about is that in the past, it's probably before COVID and everything, starting about January through March, I had there was a table set up in front of the library area in the senior center, and the knitted goods were put out there. So
Oh, to
that
sell
people could
at
to sell,
off times?
right, off times and things like that.
The knitting goods? Did you have it on that freestanding rack? Is that when you had it? Or you had a
No,
table?
we had a
Small
table,
table, one of
Just-
those.
like a 6-foot table, and put it out there. And I had the sign down there and everything, and I'll get a bucket together to put money in that if somebody, that to pay for it and things like that. And, Amy suggested I mention it here to see if people agree with that. Because what I've already started doing, I'm going to be giving Kathy Hunt has given me a list of organizations so I can donate a lot of the knitted items to. I've given it to Sutetro for veterans. I've given Afghans to them and start, because there's just so much there. And I'm just cutting down on the Oktoberfest and the Jingle Bell Fest that I keep having space taken away from me. I'm running out of room. I have so much stuff down there. I just want to start giving it.
But you're saying you want tables to sell to the people who come into the center.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that, do you know? Anybody have a problem with that?
Logistically, it should be upstairs and downstairs. And the reason I say that, because if it gets to be at capacity, like a Ferrucci thing or something else, how often do we have to move that?
This is not ongoing, this is short term. And it would be just a small table by the book.
Okay,
And then if there's something, a program going on, we can always just put it in the binder and hit the table
Have a
down.
big underneath it. just-
Right.
yeah, and then I don't have any problem. It makes a lot of sense. Because we always want,
Upstairs, we don't have so many, too much activity goes upstairs.
So I explained to Diane that previously, when the Friends didn't have a Christmas fair, what they did was they had their Oktoberfest. This is kind of established before me, but it continued. They had their Oktoberfest and they had all those knit goods. It was Martha Gebline was in charge. She would then set up a table for the month of December, which was really nice. I mean, people would buy hats and things for gifts.
Yeah.
But still, it's winter, it's cold.
Valentine's Day's coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, it's all good stuff.
Because there was just so many, and then I'm finding that space is being taken away. I'm not getting to sell as much of my knitted goods, and people are just taking in things that I didn't even know were coming in and things like that, that I got too much down there. So,
Yeah, it's a
but
good idea.
I've given up to the veterans.
Nice. Thank you.
And so, and then Kathy Hunt has given me names and places to get contact and say, I have these knitted items. Do you want some?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're giving it away.
Giving it away.
Oh, she thought you were selling it.
No.
Figures that, Deborah.
It's on the table.
And then
The table selling it.
give the money to the Friends of the
Right,
Elders.
yes. And then, but other items that I'll just call these organizations, like there's a shelter over in Medway for women and children.
Mhm.
I'll give them hats and scarves
Nice.
and the things and just don't.
That's not a bad segue. Someday in the future, if we have more space somewhere, we could, you'd have your little thrift store.
I will tell you that thrift stores are, I mean, I know that
Hopedale had a great one.
Hopedale was giving, this thrift store was giving $2,000 a month to the senior center for Friends for exercise programs, a month. And but I guess they're losing that space
It's
because.
gone, it's gone, I think it's closed, that place is closed.
So I-
That's gonna be White House or something?
No, it's down the road, where the highway stuff is.
Oh, yeah.
That's that building, out was
Yeah.
the side street.
So my dentist. is-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
or a little car. anyway.
yes.
Phil, anything?
Just one thing, just Jeremy updates, do we have any?
I emailed him, I haven't heard back.
Okay, just for this,
That's tomorrow.
ask him a Jeremy update on path forward.
Right. From Abacus.
From Abacus. I've got him hooked, we've agreed that he'll do a presentation February 5th for the capital planning.
Oh,
But, so I think he should be talking to you before.
Yeah.
So,
I will
no, Jeremy.
I will say this, last week his child was sick, Tuesday, he stayed home, so I don't know.
If you could check with him.
And have you got anything?
No.
Okay, I got to, you guys,
And again, another time, it's like my inbox, I thought I'd come back from vacation. And I got this nice white inbox, it's just lately it's been blowing up. This one just came in this week. This is a town-wide, I just want to make you aware, it's a town-wide program, and this is through the Center for Living and Working. It's called Mendon Self-Evaluation and Transition Plan. It said the town of Mendon was recently awarded a contract to complete a self-evaluation and transition plan in compliance with the AD, American Disabilities Act. The town is contracted with the Central Mass Regional Planning, which we know as CMRPC, in partnership with the Center for Living and Working, and also a consultant. So we're just being made aware, and again, I just printed this off last night. It looks like I have to complete a survey. It has to be sent to them by January 30th, so it's a couple of weeks. but.
Yeah.
Anyway, what is a self-evaluation? It's an evaluation of a municipal operations to determine whether or not they are, on the whole, accessible to people with disabilities. The 4 areas of self-evaluation are sites, services and programs, general communications, and employment practices.
What about Kevin Redmond? Is he still there?
No.
He's not
No,
there.
so it's now, it is now next door.
Maybe the person to do this.
No, all of us, it's sent to all our departments. So,
Site services, communications.
like, 12 questions maybe, for example.
Do you have that electronically?
What's that?
If maybe share it, send out an email.
Yeah, location of department and program, name of building, floor, street address, describe the function of the department. Are there any circumstances in which the participation of a person with disability in any program or services offered by your department would be restricted or excluded? Are there any exclusions or restrictions necessary to the operation of the program, or to the safety of the person? Are staff aware that it may be necessary to modify program policies or practices to enable people with disabilities to participate in the benefit from the programs? Is the public informed of these program services that are prepared to make reasonable modifications? So, I think one of our biggest issues is the stairs, in our building. And I know some people are just not comfortable yet using the stair lift. I wish.
Even so, if you were in a wheelchair,
Yes, in a wheelchair.
you can't go to the other level, which means no private meeting with Jen, which means no playing of the games.
Even getting into our building, if you're in a wheelchair, it's, unless somebody's pushing you.
Yes.
The incline it makes it difficult.
And then also the size of your wheelchair.
That's part of her job.
At the end of the day, the ramp's not compliant.
It says, does the department or program have a formal or informal process for responding to requests for modifications? I will tell you this, Karen Walker is the person that was stood behind changing the handles on all the doors there. So that they were more accessible for the restrooms, the closets and so forth, offices. Briefly describe general office service communication, specifically how is the information disseminated and communicated? Are there assistance devices or auxiliary aids? We do have, haven't used them in a while, but we do have pocket talkers. If somebody's got difficulty hearing, and over the years, we've needed them. Haven't used them recently, but just wanted to let you know, but it also does ask about sign language interpreter. That's TTY, TDD. Those are the talking forms you type in. Are there any are there any circumstances in which a person with a disability would be asked to pay a fee or meet any other requirement not imposed on the program service not imposed on other program service participants?
Don't you think, like, you and I could just do that?
Yeah.
I was going to say, the newsletter, when I was working, because I was dealing with a senior population, I had to have everything out in 14-point font just because it's
Visual.
easier to read. And I know the newsletter is not in 14 points.
12.
Yeah. And that's,
One thing Jeremy has done, and I don't know if any of you read that, town report last year or this year, it will be 14.
Yeah,
14 points.
yeah. So, I mean, I know if you did that for the newsletter, it would restrict what you could put in.
So,
It would reduce the amount, keeping it to an 8-page.
Are any of these building modifications that need to be done grandfathered in?
we are, the senior center is grandfathered in, that the makeup and all that, but the one that's gonna come from the exterior will be code.
I think you and I could do that.
Okay.
I really do. Elaine, do you have anything to say? Anything for open forum?
Are you still at?
We
Hi, Elena.
On the train now.
Oh, you're on the train, I should have. Oh, look at all. Thank you for attending. Okay, I have a couple of things. When we, don't say, oh God, I have entitled to my 2 seconds. Volunteer appreciation, we're doing that in March or April.
Hey,
We're gonna do it in May, okay, good, because that would give us
we
time.
did it in April last year.
That was a quick thing. Second thing is I got something from Ellen about doing an online, thing again. Yeah, did you get that? I got it.
Every year, yes,
This wasn't the quickie one, though.
it should be the cookie one.
I thought the quickie one last year.
We did both last year.
I thought we.
Well, I got something, that I didn't know.
It should have a quick one, it should just be, and I haven't gotten it yet, so I'll find out. It's just, you're supposed to acknowledge receipt, that's the ethics.
Ethics of conflict.
Yeah, conflict of interest, yeah, that I don't.
And it's because I don't look at my town emails, it's probably out of my town email.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know, same here, I know.
and it's probably just a quick acknowledgement, yes,
All right,
I could have sworn it was more than that, but I will look it up and
Did you get it?
I got it last week sometime. I don't ask me what email I got it in. I don't
No,
remember.
but you know, I'm gonna check.
It was from Ellen Agler, tell you that.
and it probably went to my town.
And I forgot when it needs to be done by, but I figured I'd mention it because it
Thank
was.
you.
We need a grant for that technology thing.
Yeah, beyond the site.
You see it on
I'm gonna just see. Yeah, yeah. Oh, my.
When did,
No, no. Just pause.
something, would she have just CC'd me?
Yes.
That's what.
Not today.
Okay, and the last thing, I've sung this song before, I'm gonna sing it one more time.
Good. It's music.
I don't go to the kitchen a lot, but when I do, I would prefer a trash barrel that I can just touch with my foot. And it's
No lid ever. You just take the lid off and you through service, you leave the garbage pail open and then the lid goes back
Well, I
when
haven't
you're
seen,
done.
I haven't seen us doing that.
So we'll do that.
I always do that.
So last year when you.
I think the lid is a problem because it sucks all the bacteria out when you take the lid up. You know, it's sucking it out like that. So just not having the lid on, that does it.
Just because how many times you change gloves?
Yes,
When you touch it, yes.
so they should just be on.
Just take it
And I
away.
just took that training.
So
She said that was a good idea.
we looked at those, they were smaller than what we have now, and they were a couple $100.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
And, you know, but that's the same thing, Shauna and I had talked about the same thing.
Leave the lid off.
Just take the lid off and then you put it back on
Fine.
before whoever now takes the object.
Okay, comes our next meeting, February 11th, Earl. Adjournment,
Okay.
12.
And Earl is gonna be playing the piano on the 12th.
Yeah.
We will have, sorry, a Valentine's Day program on the 12th.
Right now, my head is swimming and these notes are.
Everyone reach a pity on
That's
us.
gonna be retiring from this job very soon because this is getting to be, every month it's the same
We only meet once a month and we have stuff to cover.
stuff.
I know,
Keep up with the-
Joanne goes through the same thing. She has a
Get
lot
too
to
old.
do. Okay, meeting's adjourned 12:12. Thank you all.
Bye, Elena. Lovely to see you.
Bye. Feel better. Thank you.
Yes.
Happy to see you.
See you in my favorite